Allie, I played Asuna, and this is how Scott made the costume.
This costume has two major components, a long white dress and a bolero jacket. First we modified the jacket. Allie tried it on, and I drew marks on the shoulders where it fell on her and cut them out. I then lined the shoulders with red duct tape. To get the same length all around, I used short pieces of tape and then matched the corners to get the curved effect. I also lined the cuffs in red duct tape. As a final detail, I added a strip of duct tape at the collar when she was fully in costume. For the dress, I modified it to look more like Asuna's overcoat by cutting the front into this pattern. Since Allie would be wearing it underneath the bolero, it was necessary to cut away much of the sleeves. Once the dress was cut, I lined the perimeter with more red duct tape in the following pattern. For the back, it was a slow and steady process of cutting short pieces of duct tape to create the pattern. Final details of the costume included lining the tops of a pair of knee-high socks with red duct tape, adding a white belt, and white tennis shoes. One note on the belt, I deliberately chose one that didn't have belt holes so we wouldn't have to modify it. So this gives you a better idea of the costume just as a whole. You can see that the arms are cut out so that her shoulder is still bared underneath when I put a bigger jacket over this one, and it is cut short down here. It was actually about at least a foot or two longer than this. This dress is actually a size 14, which is a lot bigger than Allie would normally have worn, but because Asuna's gown is more of an overcoat than an actual dress, we knew that when we put the jacket over it that it would pitch in right about at her shoulders and chest. So you can see that the dress has indeed pinched in now that we've got the jacket over it. And we have tucked up any lingering amounts of the gown underneath this part of the jacket. And that's pretty much the finished product. We thought about putting in a little bit of silver linings here on the sides to be more similar to Asuna, or at least a little bit of silver here. But we eventually figured the natural shadow would be more than sufficient to separate these two areas. The last thing we need to add is the scabbard and the belt. And like the jacket, we knew that because the dress is so large that the belt would again help cinch it in so that it would not appear as broad as what this dress would normally look on someone Allie's size. And that's the finished costume. It took me about $20 grand total. And time-wise, it took me about 2 hours to build it. That's not counting any time that I actually had to take hunting for the different pieces and components at various thrift stores, which, counting driving time, did take me more in the realm of 3 or 4 hours, plus the 2 to actually finish the costume.
Thanks for joining us on the Prop Master's Handbook. See you next time!